Hi, I'm Melissa, and I live in a 1999 Chevy Express, and I'm going to share how I got here. If you told younger me I'd be 32 living in a big blue van alone, I'd probably laugh or cry, and honestly, it has been a lot of both since hitting the road full-time. I grew up next to the smallest city in Michigan with one stoplight and 33 students in my graduating class. There's a specific type of claustrophobia I felt growing up in a town that a lot of people never leave, and I think that was a catalyst for wanting to see as much of the world as I can. Growing up low income, Mennonite, and the most bullied kid in my class has definitely left its mark on me, and I've learned to be so grateful for those moments and how they have helped me become the person I am today. Some days I like to forget where I came from, but I think it's kind of beautiful to look back at it all and see how far I've come. My love of travel started in adulthood. My first time being on a plane was at 21 years old, to visit San Francisco when my uncle and his partner used their mile points to fly me out to visit them. And I don't think they'll ever truly know how much that changed my life trajectory. For the first time, I could see how different my life could be if I left Michigan. I worked at an Irish pub, Dollar General, a mall calendar kiosk, and at Bath & Body Works while trying to rapidly finish my Master of Science in Occupational Therapy. And upon entering the workforce and starting my career in healthcare, I quickly realized it wasn't for me. But I made it work for 6 years, steep student loans, and finally having some sense of financial freedom that I hadn't experienced in childhood kept me going. I began taking on travel occupational therapy contracts in Washington, Alaska, and California. I would take a few weeks in between contracts to travel, and I began to live for those in-between moments. And it feels weird condensing my life into these bullet points, because to me it feels like such a long journey to end up here, alone, in a van. But looking back, it all kind of makes sense. The most alive I felt was living in national parks out of my Nissan Juke from Michigan to Washington, and then again on my solo road trip to Alaska. And I feel like I've been chasing that wide-eyed, full-of-life version of myself ever since. But I was in a relationship for 4 years where living on the road just wouldn't work. And I spent the majority of my energy convincing myself I didn't want to live a nomadic lifestyle so that I could stay in a comfortable and kind relationship. The depression that came with going against what you're meant to do dug me deeper and deeper until I truly could no longer see any alternative than to just sit at the bottom of that hole for the rest of my days. By some miracle, I met the right road life folks that introduced me to myself again and the life I could be living if I finally released what was no longer serving me. So yeah, I blew up my old life, and that brings us to now, in a van that isn't quite fully set up to live out of, but I'm making it work. And it feels like home more and more each day. And I can feel the emotional numbness from my old life thawing, the life coming back into my eyes, my smile. Sometimes I regret not getting on the road sooner, but the universe has its timing, and it showed me a way out just when I thought I'd be lost forever.